My name is Daniel. I am 35 years old. I live in a small house with my son, Liam. Liam is 15 years old. He is my only child. I love him a lot, but things are not good right now. Liam has changed. Before, he was kind and happy. He liked school. He played football with his friends and helped me in the garden on weekends. But now he is different. He does not listen to me. He stays out late at night. He skips school. He argues with me all the time. I feel like I do not know him anymore. One evening, I was sitting in the kitchen, looking at the clock. It was 9:30 p.m., and Liam was not home. I called his phone. He did not answer. I called again, but still nothing. I started to feel very worried. "Where is he?" I whispered, walking around the small kitchen. At 10 p.m., the front door opened. Liam came in. He wore a hoodie that covered his face. His shoes left mud on the floor. His clothes were dirty, and he smelled like cigarettes. My heart felt heavy. "Where were you?" I asked. I tried to stay calm, but I was very upset. "Out," he said quickly. "Out where?" I asked again. "Just out, Dad. Stop asking questions," he said angrily, and went to his room. I stood in the hallway, feeling sad and confused. What am I doing wrong? Why doesn't he trust me anymore? I kept asking myself, but I had no answers. The next morning, I decided to try again. "Liam," I said as he poured cereal into a bowl, "we need to talk." "About what?" he said quietly, without looking at me. "About you. About your life. I'm worried about you," I said, sitting across from him. "I'm fine," he said in a flat voice. "You don't need to worry." "But I do," I said. "You skip school. You stay out late. You don't tell me where you go or who you're with." Liam rolled his eyes and ate a spoonful of cereal. "I'm not a kid, Dad." "No, you're not a kid, but you're still my son," I said firmly, "and I need to know that you're safe." He didn't say anything. He stood up, picked up his bag, and left the house without speaking. The door slammed, and the house felt quiet but full of tension. I felt like I was losing him, and I didn't know what to do. That afternoon, I went to Liam's school. I talked to his teacher, Mrs. Carter, in her small, messy office. "Liam is a smart boy," she said, fixing her glasses. "But he hasn't been himself. He isn't doing his homework, and he missed 3 tests this month." "3 tests?" I said, surprised. Mrs. Carter nodded. "I've also seen him with some boys after school. They don't seem like a good influence." My stomach felt tight. I thanked her and left the office. My mind was full of questions. What happened to my son? How did it get this bad? That night, I waited for Liam to come home. The clock showed 8, then 9. At 9:30, the door finally opened. Liam walked in. He looked tired, and his hair was messy. "Liam," I said firmly, "we need to talk." He sighed and sat down at the table, looking annoyed. "I know you don't like my questions," I started, "but I'm your father. I love you, and I want to help." "I don't need help," he said quietly, not looking at me. "Yes, you do," I said, leaning closer. "Mrs. Carter told me you missed your tests. She told me about the boys you're with after school." Liam's expression hardened. His eyes flashed with anger. "You went to my school? Why would you do that?" "Because I'm worried about you," I said loudly. "You're not the same boy you used to be, Liam. You're changing, and it's not in a good way." Liam stood up quickly, his fists tight. "You don't understand me, Dad. You'll never understand me." "Then help me understand," I said, almost begging. "Tell me what's wrong. Tell me why you're acting like this." But Liam didn't say anything. He walked to his room and slammed the door. The sound was so loud it felt like the whole house shook. I stood there, feeling like I had failed. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Liam. I thought about his mother. She passed away when he was 10. Her death had hurt both of us deeply. Maybe he was still sad. Maybe I wasn't doing enough for him. The next morning, I decided to try something different. I got up early and made breakfast. Pancakes, his favorite. When Liam walked into the kitchen, he looked surprised. "Morning," I said with a smile. "Sit down. Let's eat together." He hesitated, but then sat down. We ate quietly. I didn't ask him questions. Instead, I talked about work, the funny dog next door, and the movie I watched last night. Slowly, I saw him relax. After breakfast, I said, "Liam, I have an idea." "What is it?" he asked, sounding unsure. "Let's go fishing this weekend. Just you and me." "Fishing?" He looked at me with surprise. "Yeah," I said. "We used to go all the time. Do you remember?" A small smile appeared on his face. "Yeah, I remember." "Let's do it again," I said. "Just like before?" He nodded. "Okay." That Saturday we drove to the lake. The sun was bright and the water sparkled. When we threw our fishing lines into the calm water, everything felt quiet and peaceful. At first we didn't say much, but after some time, Liam started to talk. "I miss Mom," he said softly, looking at the water. "I miss her too," I said, my voice filled with emotion. "Sometimes I feel so angry," he said. "And I don't even know why." I nodded. "It's okay to feel angry, Liam. But you can't let it take over your life." He looked at me, his eyes showing how hurt he was. "I don't know how to stop. You don't have to do it alone," I said, putting my hand on his shoulder. "I'm here for you. Always." That day changed things for us. Liam started talking to me more. He came home on time, did his homework, and even apologized to Mrs. Carter for missing his tests. It wasn't a quick fix. There were still hard days, moments when things felt difficult. But little by little, we fixed the connection we almost lost. I learned that being a father doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being there, even when it feels like you're not doing enough. Liam learned that he didn't have to face his problems alone. Now, when I look at Liam, I see the boy I thought I'd lost. He's not perfect. No one is, but he's trying, and that's enough for me, because no matter what happens, I will always be there for him. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure you don't miss our next video. We have an exciting and engaging topic lined up to help you practice your listening skills. Click here to watch it and keep improving your English.